Hi and welcome to today's video. Today I have with me our student Chaitanya Negi. I'm going to take a complete IELTS interview with him. After the interview, we will show you an analysis of Chaitanya's performance and scores. So Chaitanya, are you ready?
Yes, sir.
Shall we start?
Sure, sir.
Alright, we will start with part 1 and I will ask you a lot of questions on topics that you're familiar with.
Sure.
So let's talk about movies. Do you watch movies often? If so, how often?
So I do not prefer watching movies that often. Like it's 1 or 2 movies in a month or so. And I'm not that keen of movies because I prefer staying out with my friends instead of sitting in a cinema hall quiet and watching a movie.
Right. So, what kinds of movies are popular in your country?
Kinds of movies popular in my country are the action movies and the thriller ones because they are very entertaining and they hit the dopamine of the youngsters and the people in my country.
Right. So, what's your favorite movie and why do you like it so much?
My favorite movie is Tare Zameen Par because it has a very deep connection with my mom and me. And in that movie, there are very emotional scenes of the main character and his mother. So I relate a lot with it.
Right. Okay. Let's talk about sport. Do you like sport? If so, what is your favorite sport?
Yes, sir, I do like sports. I was an athlete when I was in school. And my favorite sport is football.
Right. And why do you like it so much?
Because my dad also used to play football and he was my inspiration. And because of him, I joined the school football team and I performed very well in it. We also went for the nationals when I was in 8th.
Right. Okay. So, did you play a lot of sports when you were a child?
Yeah, when I was a child, I used to play a lot of sports. I participated in all the sports activities which occurred in my school back then, including the sports day. There were many races, relay races, 100 meters, 200 meters, and I used to participate in all of them.
Right. Which sport would you like your country to improve in and why?
Like our country is already acing in cricket, and the sport I would like my country to ace in is also football. Because recently our country played in the international football tournament, but due to some skills and issues, they got disqualified. So I would like my country to focus more on football and soccer and ace it also.
Right. Okay. Let's talk about surfing the internet. Do you surf the internet often? If so, how often?
Yes, sir. I surf the internet quite a lot of time. Like whenever I am in need of something or some answers from the Google or some spellings or Wikipedia. So I'm like on the internet mostly all the time of the day.
Right. Okay. So, what are your favorite sites and why do you like them so much?
So my favorite sites are the social media platforms, including Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, because like from my busy schedule, I can take some time and watch the short, entertaining videos in all such platforms. And if I also need some piece of information, I can catch from it.
Right. So, do you face any problems while surfing the internet? If so, what are these problems?
The problems I face is the advertisement problem. Like whenever I'm scrolling from a different page to a different one, I get lots of ads and they redirect me to some other site or some different websites. So that's the major problem which I face. That's the advertisements.
Right. That is the end of part 1. We will now go to part 2. In part 2, I will give you a card. The card has a topic and some cues on it. You have 1 minute to prepare. While you're preparing, you may take notes. After 1 minute, I will ask you to speak for up to 2 minutes on the topic and the cues on your card. And this is your card, and your 1 minute has started. You may start now.
So it was the 24th of September, and it was a very big day for me because finally I was going to receive my degree from the university. It was my convocation day. I was very excited and happy about it. So while I was going to the university, I was playing all sorts of music and singing and vibing with them. And then after a while, I reached my university where I gathered with my friends, and they were also very hyped up about the fact that they are going to receive their degrees. So our entire friend group then went towards the main auditorium where the convocation event was about to happen. But when we were moving inside, I was the only one who was denied access to the auditorium. And then the issue was like the fees receipt was not submitted or something. So the team asked me to head towards the HOD office. Then from the auditorium, I went to the HOD office where the HOD was not present at that time. It was a government college, so the teachers were here and there, and lunch breaks and everything. So I met the assistant. So the assistant asked me to wait for like half an hour or so, like HOD will come after the lunch. And I told him that it's my convocation in the auditorium, you need to just hurry things up. So then the HOD came, he told me that your fees receipt is not submitted, but I told him that I submitted, I even have the mail of it. Then he told me like you need to confirm it from the administrative office, go there and ask the teachers, write the application. Then I went to the administrative office. Then I contacted the teacher who was sitting on the main desk. Then I told him that I have submitted my fees, I have also submitted the receipt. Please grant me the application so that I can have my degree. Then they checked on their system and the server was not working. Then I got very worried and I started stressing out because I also wanted my degree with my friends. I wanted to enjoy the moment right then. Then after like spending half an hour or 1 hour in all this chaos, he finally gave me the application for sitting in the auditorium. Then I rushed from the administrative office and then I went to the auditorium. Then I showed the team my entire letter that I am granted the access for my degree, and they let me sit in the auditorium. There were many staff people involved. It was my HOD, it was my HOD's assistant, it was the entire team who was managing the event in the auditorium. And because they were like, the chief minister was also present there, the CEO of ISRO was also present there, so it was a lot of security there. So a lot of people were involved in this chaotic situation at that time. So it was very stressful for me that day. But in the end, I got the degree.
Right, so that was a specific example of stress. Let's talk about stress in general. What are the common causes of stress?
The common causes of stress, I feel, is one of the most common causes I feel is the performance pressure. Like if an individual is trying to do something, he's always in a constant pressure of what people and what other individual will say to him, like if you're not doing good, and they'll make fun about you. So it is the most common pressure I feel, including myself.
Right. So do you think people in the present time face more stress than people in past generations? And if so, why?
Yes, sir, I do feel people in present face more stress than people in past generations because of the increase in competition. Like in every field, this competition is skyrocketing, and people are also evolving. They are doing different things to achieve their best in a particular field. But in the past, where the fields were also limited and the people participating in the fields were also limited, the level of competition was way less than the level of competition now. So I feel stress now is much higher.
Right. In your experience, what is the best way to deal with stress?
So in my experience, like the best way to deal stress is to stay calm in such chaotic situations and to focus on the goal you're trying to achieve, and just ignore everybody who is trying to be a barrier between you and your goal, and work hard. And if you're working hard, it is going to pay you in the end.
Right. Who do you think faces more stress? Young people like you or older people, and why?
So, according to me, everybody has their own capacity of handling stress. Everybody is facing through some things in their life which causes them stress. But in general, I feel the elder generation is facing more stress because they have a much higher amount of responsibilities on their shoulders. They have to manage their families, they have to take out the expenses, their loans and their interests and everything. So I feel they have a much higher amount of pressure than the youngsters. The youngsters are, I feel, a little immature. They are dealing with their own circle, like within the friend groups, and they do not have all the responsibilities, but they still are facing stress.
Right. Thank you very much, Chaitanya.
Thank you so much, sir.
Now, we shall understand my analysis of Chaitanya's performance in the interview. I gave Chaitanya an overall score of 8.0. His scores in each band descriptor were as you see on the screen. When talking about fluency, Chaitanya's ability to keep speaking was evident throughout the interview. He did not stop even once. Chaitanya did not hesitate either or self-correct. His rate of speech was exceptional. His ideas flowed together in a logical way with logical sequencing, and there were plenty of connectors used. So, I gave Chaitanya 8.5 in fluency and coherence. Now, let's see Chaitanya's score analysis in lexical resource. Chaitanya made 2 mistakes in relevance in the choice of words. He talked about his country's acing in cricket. Acing is not the correct word for this context, and a word like excelling would have been much better. He also talked about how to catch information from the internet. Catch was not an appropriate choice of word, as obtain would have been much better. However, the choice of words had clarity in communication, and his collocation was also perfect. He also needed circumlocution, which is filling in a vocabulary gap with other words twice in the interview. So, I gave Chaitanya a score of 7.5 in lexical resource. Now, let's look at Chaitanya's score analysis and grammatical range and accuracy. His sentence structure and variation were excellent, as he used a harmonious blend of simple, compound, and complex sentences. In addition, he used some compound complex sentences too in the interview. Also, he used plenty of subordinate clauses. Finally, Chaitanya made only 2 errors in the interview, which were both prepositional use errors. Overall, I gave Chaitanya an 8 in grammatical range and accuracy. Now, we shall see Chaitanya's score analysis and pronunciation. His pronunciation was clear and correct. There was no strain in understanding what he said, as I could clearly comprehend everything he said. Also, there was no evidence of native language influence. He was able to stress important words, and his intonation had variety. So, I gave Chaitanya an 8.5 in pronunciation. Thanks for watching this video. For more videos of IELTS speaking, like, share and subscribe. To get your IELTS preparation on track, register at www.studyunifees.io.